Hi everybody, it is a Sunday morning. It's a little bit after 9 o'clock. I'm meteorologist Ryan Breton in the News Center Maine weather office. Just want to bring you an update on Tropical Storm Henri as we're getting closer and closer. The details of the storm becoming a bit more clear, so we'll spend some time going through that. Here's the latest as of this morning. The track has shifted a bit west relative to 24 to 36 hours ago, but there are actually some signs this morning. We are converging on a landfall that may happen either on eastern Long Island, around Block Island, Rhode Island. But the key here is that this is going to be a slow-moving storm, and in order for hurricanes to make it all the way into northern New England to bring us significant wind and significant impacts, they have to be moving quickly to maintain their strength, and that will not happen here. So in Maine, little impact from this storm is expected. I'm really not concerned about widespread damaging winds, but we will have some downpours. There will be large waves and rip currents over the next few days. Here's the storm right now. We'll get an update to the statistics at 11 o'clock. It's starting to look like it's a little lopsided here. Today is really Henry's day to come together. It's still sitting over really warm Gulf Stream waters down in here. They're in the 80s. And just by the color scale here on the ocean temperatures, you can clearly see that obviously they get cooler as you move north. Now it's still relatively warm for this time of the year in the 70s south of Long Island, but this is the real bathwater that hurricanes like to grow off of. And the storm maybe has about 18 hours or so of time to travel through this warm Gulf Stream water and organize a little bit more. As you can see the sun coming up, this is the center of the storm. It's not a classic one by any means, and it's still a tropical storm at this point, but the latest forecast from the Hurricane Center does suggest it will become a Category 1 hurricane today as it lifts north, becoming Hurricane Henri by late today and tonight. Let me flip this over really quickly so you can actually see the track of the storm. Here it is. And the latest indications from the Hurricane Center are that it will make a landfall either as a strong tropical storm or a weak Category 1 hurricane tomorrow afternoon, somewhere within this cone. Now you do have to pay attention to the entire cone, and I'll zoom into tomorrow afternoon so you can see that. Clearly for southern New England, if it makes a landfall in Long Island, then the biggest impacts would be in Connecticut. But if the storm ends up traveling over the eastern side of this cone, which is a possibility, then it would be a greater impact for all of eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, southeastern Mass, and the Cape too, and that is a possibility. But for us here in Maine, the big story is how slowly this storm will move after it makes landfall. If it kept moving quickly and came right up into Maine, we would get into the winds as well, but instead it will slow down. So from 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, it only goes from Long Island or Block Island up into central and western Massachusetts. And at that point, it's in much weaker form, and that circulation will come through here Monday night into Tuesday morning with some downpours that will be left over at that point. So let's go through a little bit of a timing here of the wind. This is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and this computer model I'm showing you is actually one of the ones that's on the more eastern side of things, with a track, as you'll see, that gets close to Block Island. So I have some suspicion that the Hurricane Center may wobble their official track a little bit west and center it more like this when the update comes in later this morning or this afternoon. By noon tomorrow, winds kicking up in southern New England, up over 40 miles per hour. And then as we approach landfall late tomorrow afternoon, wherever the center of this storm goes, on the east side, there will be some gusts over 60 or 70 miles per hour. The strongest wind is always on the east and southeast side of the storm. So if the eye ends up being here, it would be Narragansett Bay and the south coast of Massachusetts that gets it. If this eye ends up being farther west, closer to Montauk or the Connecticut shoreline, then it would be southeastern Connecticut, eastern Long Island, and Rhode Island that gets the strongest winds. Regardless, either scenario for Maine put us on the very low end of things because the storm will start slowing down and weakening. So the risk for wind gusts in Maine is kind of capped at around 30 or 35 miles per hour over the southern Maine coast, and that's not enough for any significant power outages. So I think we will avoid any real issues from wind here in Maine and New Hampshire. It certainly will be breezy. It will feel somewhat like a nor'easter, but the wind field by Monday morning has totally collapsed as the storm moves up over land. Rain is going to be a more significant issue and one that we will get into as well. This is rain through Monday morning, and the heaviest of the rain is going to go on the west side of the storm's track, and there will be some places that get 3 to 6 inches of rain in here. This axis of heavier rain could end up being more in central Mass and Rhode Island if that track does shift a little bit farther to the east. In Maine, we'll get some downpours not only tomorrow night, and Monday, but also Monday night into Tuesday morning, and could pick up close to 2 inches of rain in some spots, which could lead to some minor flooding issues, potentially some flash flooding in spots as well. So rain is probably the bigger impact here. Here's a look at the projected wave heights. Very clearly going to be an issue on the south coast of New England. That's where storm surge will be a problem too, with coastal flooding. Unfortunately, this weekend there is a high astronomical tide. We have a full moon tomorrow night. So it's never great to get a storm in any of those situations. For us here in Maine, seas start to build about 4 feet tomorrow morning, and we'll start to get some 8-footers, especially mid and down east coast and offshore tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. At this point, I don't expect this to come with strong winds, so if you're a boater, you're going to want to stay in port, but I'm not sure you have to pull your vessel. Perhaps if you're in an exposed coastal location, particularly on the mid and down east coast where you'll get into more of these waves, I would check with your local harbor master or your marina, that type of thing, to get a better idea of what you should do. This is not a clear-cut situation where you absolutely have to pull the boat out of the water in Maine, especially because we won't get the strong winds. But that said, the Atlantic will be quite churned up, 4 to 8 foot seas, and these brighter greens are over 10 feet, and they may get close for a brief time either tomorrow night or early Monday. So it's going to be one of those things, if you want to be better safe than sorry, then pull your boat. But if you're in a protected spot and you've weathered near misses before, then maybe that's a better way to proceed with it there. But as I said, always the local harbor masters kind of know their port and know their area a bit better. And at this point, this does not look like it will be anywhere near a big hit in Maine. Here's a look at the temperatures now. We'll give you a quick rundown for the weekend. It's warm, it's humid. Look at this, dew points in the lower 70s. This tropical air is going nowhere either. We had Fred come through back on Wednesday, Thursday, the remnants of it. Now we have Henri, and there's just a lot of tropical air out there. So it'll be warm and muggy through the weekend. In that humidity this afternoon, there could be a pop-up shower or thunderstorm, particularly inland. That's something we'll keep an eye on the radar for. It's only about a 20% chance, so I wouldn't let it cancel your plans. Tonight, some fog will roll in. It'll be mild and muggy. Temperatures stay in the 60s. And then tomorrow is a cloudier day, and these bands of rain that you start to see by midday tomorrow, these are the outer bands of Henri, and can never rule out in some of these squally showers a very weak spin-up tornado. That's something we'll watch out for tomorrow. It's not anything that would be long-tracked or long-lasting, but sometimes on the eastern circulation of these things with very humid air, there can be some damaging wind or a brief tornado. But this is not a big deal for us tomorrow. It's really just showery, squally weather with a breeze out of the northeast. And then Monday into Tuesday morning, we keep off and on showers going. There are some indications there could be a round of some briefly heavier rain Monday night. After that, it looks hot and humid on Wednesday, highs up around 90, but that's the next truly sunny day in the forecast. The next few days will be cloudy and rather showery. Looks like a front will come down on Thursday, and that would finally break the humidity. Notice each of the next 6 days, I wrote humid on there, and it will be humid. The overnight lows only in the 60s as well. So you'll notice the humidity in the air. Again, that's the latest on Henri. Mike Slifer will be here tonight. He will have more information for you then. There is an advisory that comes out at 11 a.m. with a new forecast track. That will be on our website, but I don't expect any significant changes for Maine. If you have friends and family down on the south coast of New England, obviously a bigger impact for them, both in terms of the storm surge, the rain, and the wind. But for us, we are really lucking out, missing out on what could have been a pretty impactful storm. That said, still some rain, some breezy wind, and as I mentioned, some of those squalls that will come through tomorrow, so we'll have updates on those through the weekend. Mike will be here tonight on the air and online, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Hope you have a great weekend and enjoy today, which is clearly the pick day of the weekend. Thank you.